Hello, everyone. This is Sparlycos. We do not have our Tantar for kit, but we do have foil and shadow this time, along with Sonic, and we are revisiting. Should games be $60?
I think a better way to put it would be how games should be priced in general.
Yeah. I also would like to say I'm the one that brought this back up because after seeing the previous conversation on that, I noticed a lot of things were left out in consideration in the price of games. Things like advertising or the actual cost of assets to make a game. That's very heavily defining of the price of games. Let's see, what did they spend on Mass Effect Andromeda? Something like $5 billion to make the game?
A lot. Doesn't show.
No, it doesn't. And that's another thing I wanted to bring up. Just because a game costs what it costs doesn't necessarily mean it's good, especially,
See previous.
Yeah. I mean, they spent like $5 billion to make this game, and it's kind of crap. But you've really got to think of things like the price of assets. Like, unless they make their own engine, they have to license the engine. They have to pay voice actors, animation.
Who don't come cheap if they're good ones.
Oh, yeah.
Right, and if I remember correctly, they actually got some notable voice actors for the Andromeda game, right?
No one big name. And in fact, some of the ones that were kind of like they managed to get Liara's actor to come back for a cameo, but most of the ones you usually see out of BioWare weren't there. Like male and female Shepard's actors are in almost all of BioWare's games. They were not in Andromeda at all.
Ah.
And some of the actors they did hire, I'm going to be honest, kind of sucked. Like, God, I'm going to try to pull names out of my Andromeda database. Fuck. Is it? I don't remember who the Solarian that ended up in charge of the initiative was, but that dude's actor sucked. He couldn't even make himself sound Solarian.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he sounded like a whiny Turian.
A whiny Turian. I don't think I've ever heard anything like that in the first or second game yet. Then again, I haven't even gotten to the third yet, so...
Citadel DLC.
Okay. Yeah,
That is the answer to everything Mass Effect related. Citadel DLC.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I have that yet.
You have it all. Alright, no, you don't.
Yeah, I
You
have
should.
the game in DLC you have, Shadow, but I don't remember which ones that was.
I don't think that one. I don't know if that'll work.
I was going to say something else in consideration is stocking. The physical copies need to be stored, and there is a maintenance fee on online stores to have games, which is something people don't think about. Like, you have to pay Microsoft and Sony for them to host your games.
Not to mention physical game sales, you have to buy that shelf space.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that would make sense. And I guess that would up the price a bit.
And something that was said.
It ups it quite a bit because they have to pre-plan. They have to buy millions and millions of physical copies for, like, stores to be able to sell it.
Ah.
It should also be said that none of this takes into consideration prices that would be continuing issues afterwards.
Yeah, like
multiplayer servers.
Or, a hotfix dev team.
I don't know if they still charge that much, but I know on the 360, every time an update, no matter how small, came out, Microsoft made them pay $10,000.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
And, like, I appreciate the way Kit was trying to talk about the game being worth the content in it. But a single player game is nowhere near as expensive as a multiplayer game. Like,
Right,
A
because
single
you have to
player
pay for
game-
like servers and stuff if it's a server-based game, or you have to make sure the game is constantly updated. So if any bugs rear their ugly heads, you can smash them back down.
Well, the thing is, single player games have to be updated for bugs too. Don't get me wrong.
yeah.
But a multiplayer game has to be updated for balancing as well. And the constantly changing balancing is an issue. Not to mention, a multiplayer game, you have to keep finding ways to add shit to keep people coming back and playing it more. Then you need to monetize the fact they're coming back to actually
Right.
pay for the fact that you're spending money. Like, as much as everyone hates spending all the money that the multiplayer games end up costing, there's a reason.
Right.
Yeah.
Like a good example would be Siege or For Honor. They keep
I
changing.
would actually say that those are exceptions.
Really?
Guys, yes, it's not necessary for you to buy anything further in those games. You can earn it with in-game currency.
And that's because Ubi explicitly does not believe in such things.
I would say a good example of what Clutch was talking about would be like Elder Scrolls Online
Or Destiny.
or Destiny. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess those would be better examples. Sonic, you have anything you want to chime in on? And you've been quiet most of this time.
Not really. I mean, the problem is you're talking about a game that I have no idea on any of it. Don't know the developers, don't know any backstories, don't know anything about Mass Effect. So I wasn't
We're
really
not
paying-
talking
Well,
about
we've
Mass
left
Effect
Mass
anymore.
Effect. We're talking
anymore.
games in general.
Right. So it doesn't matter what game it is. The main topic is, should games stay at $60, be more expensive due to like the maintenance, or should they be lower? You know, stuff like that. That's the topic we're talking about.
Personally, I think that games should stay as they are. Personally.
I actually agree to a certain point.
But then, if you take this into consideration, and it's only this one, Steam does massive sales on all of their games. No
Right,
other
but-
company.
But Steam's just a distributor. They sell the games. They don't produce the games. So
No, but they still have to sell the games at the prices.
I will say this, as far as like PC games go, it's actually cheaper on PC than it is consoles.
Mm-hmm.
really?
Significantly.
How so? Because I can't really think of any way that would be cheaper.
There's a lot of open source engines on PC that you can't get on consoles.
Oh.
And that's just in the development. When it
Yeah.
comes to distribution, most PC distributors usually are used to working with, indie companies. They do not charge nearly as much.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, getting a game on Steam will cost a hell of a lot less than getting it on console, which is why so many games come to Steam first, and after they hit a certain amount of success, only do they even consider going to console, because the price barrier is outrageous, and they have to know for sure they're going to profit.
And I will also say on PC, and especially indie developers, they don't tend to use a lot of licensed assets, which makes that a lot cheaper.
All right.
Like, that's one thing, when you guys were talking about indie games, it's actually a really good point. Indie games don't need to be that high because, honestly, they're made a hell of a lot cheaper.
It's AAA titles that take the brunt of the hit on shit
Yeah.
like this. Because
Right.
those are the games where if they don't come out with the most amazing graphics, for instance, people throw a shit fit.
This is like the whole reason I'm not upset with like loot boxes and DLC that's cosmetics, because it's a way for them to maintain the price and it doesn't actually affect gameplay.
Right.
The one about loot boxes, the thing that I hate about them is the problem I have with loot boxes is one little simple fact. You can spend hours and hours trying to grind for it and spend money to get them. That's what I like about Warframe. It's plain and simple. This is what you're going to get. This is what cosmetic you're going to get. No BS of spending 20 quid on, or $20, whatever you want to say, for a chance of it. And that's what I like about some games where they don't have RNG. There's no RNG in them.
I get that, but that's more of a thing. Are you willing to pay that money for a chance or whatnot? I don't honestly care if it's cosmetics.
Right. I mean, some games
Somebody will
actually,
pay it either way.
right, and some games actually give you the option of just, working towards
Grinding
getting
it
a loot box, like say
Yeah.
Siege. You
Actually,
win a match, you get a
Warframe-
chance.
Warframe's amazing at that because you cannot put any money in and still be able to end up with platinum. Like, it has an amazing economy.
Yeah, I never put any money in. I had a lot of shit.
Yeah, you actually eventually even got to the point where you had your own guild and everything set up, right?
Yeah, the Space Gigolos.
Yep.
Still can't believe that was allowed.
Hey, we
Do you
rocked it.
remember what the chat was like when we used to play? That was part of why I quit, was they fucking killed region chat.
Oh
I
my
liked getting on and hearing someone reading off an erotic fan fiction or something. You never knew what you were going to find.
Right?
Yeah, and I was surprised to actually find that one specific region was mainly being used mostly for furs from what I remember you telling
Hey,
I
me.
like
you
how you
didn't
thought we
believe
were lying.
us.
Yeah, like we were really going to fuck with you on this.
I'm sorry, but I really didn't expect that to be an actual thing.
I mean, the forum gladly would have. We wouldn't.
Yeah.
True.
What was
Still,
the first thing you saw? Yif me, daddy?
It was like
Yeah, that was kind of the tell indicator of, okay, they are not fucking with me.
or possibly with each other.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah.
There were many times I would just be sitting there commenting in the chat, and people would just send me a private message assuming I'm a just because I'm in the chat. Like, no, I just appreciate a good message board. Thank you.
But like I said, a lot of this was me just wanting to cover some things that you guys didn't like. I like the discussion on payment models, but I don't think it really touched upon the subject of the price of video games.
Right.
And like, honestly, I could do a little research. I could probably bring out a whole discussion just on payment models and the way different companies have you paying for their games.
Well, I mean, we still have a bit. If you want to bring that up, we could.
I'd have to do a little bit of research on that one before I did.
And well, I'm sure we all have preferred payment models. Like,
Yeah.
some more than others. I'm sure we can all agree. At the very least, it means they're doing maintenance, because nothing ruins a game more than the developers just putting it out like a multiplayer game, than just putting it out than not doing anything.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
if you want your game to last, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
That
mean,
said, there are some companies that do that better than others. Like they were talking about last time, Minecraft is in the shitter as far as where they're taking their updating and shit.
Oh, yeah.
Console or PC? Because PC's got getting a lot less frequent, but they're still getting them. Console.
Console and the Better Together update, which is now being referred to as the Bedrock Edition or the... Fuck, there was another name I can't remember.
Microtransaction edition.
We could call it that.
See, that is an example of done wrong.
Yeah. But like I said, this is more talking about payment models and the actual worth of the game.
Right.
Because that one's going to piss people off. Because they're basically like, hey, who wants to ante up another $60 on Minecraft?
Yeah, I
And
mean,
this is like, in order to have that version, you've already paid for Minecraft. Then they're like, now don't you also want to keep adding more payment options in? Like, hey, you know how in PC you could normally just download a texture pack for free? Well,
Yeah.
we're charging, and they're doing that old trick where they don't give you a price value, they give you some made up currency value. And then
Okay,
I actually
Xbox was
converted.
good at that.
Xbox used to do that too.
Yeah.
And I mean,
But I converted it. I actually looked in and did the conversions because these things were also on sale on the previous Minecrafts. So a
right.
skin pack that cost $2 before with those conversions cost like $4.50. They upped the prices immensely. Then they did that to hide it.
Yeah. Which, what the fuck?
It's an
See,
old
once-
trick.
It was,
Carnivals have been doing it forever.
Yeah. But that is a perfect example of monetizing the wrong way. Because at that point, you're just trying to use your community by forcing them to buy or to get a different version of the game than saying, well, if you want to continue getting updates, you got to use this new one now. And then they're like, oh, but none of the DLC we already made you shell out money for carries over, and you have to rebuy the same things you already paid money for.
right. And I will point this out. If you had the console edition before the Better Together update, they did give you a chance to get the free version.
If you got it quick enough.
Yeah, that
But
is
all
annoying.
of the DLC, which is where they're making their money, doesn't.
Whereas, say, if you get the Java edition, you get the Windows 10 edition for free. Which, that's a pretty damn good deal. And now I remember, the Windows 10 edition is also the Bedrock edition. That's what I was trying to think of. But, the one thing that's really annoying me about it is my account is on Castillo's Xbox, so he has all my games. He was able to get the game off of me, even the free version that I got after a while of it having already been gone. But he was not able to get any of the DLC I had already had that I could still download on my
That was
console.
another thing that did, because we tested this. It also, because it's through the microtransaction store instead of through Xbox, blocks that shit.
But here's the thing: I already actually had. I was able to download the DLC myself through their thing because I originally had my DLC from the 360 and the Xbone. But for some reason, even though he had the same DLC off of me, he could not do that. So, I mean,
I can't really get into speaking for the mechanics of that show.
Yeah.
I literally don't know. And I'm not going to sit here and make it up. But I don't know. Like, I'm okay with the way some games are monetized. To an extent, I was okay with what Destiny did, even if they followed through with what they said they would. Because Destiny adds Hyperverse, which is paid cosmetics. And I'm like, okay, is there a point? And they said, quote, or not quote, but what they said was, we were adding this for paid cosmetics, and then we're going to use this to pay for our next up DLCs. You will never have to pay for a DLC again. Then immediately within 2 months, they drop another DLC, and it's the most expensive DLC yet, $40. And that the way Destiny does it is you pretty much have to buy the DLC when it comes out if you want to continue playing the game.
right? And
I will
still
say
did that
they
with
did
Destiny 2.
Second one, and they did the first one.
Destiny. The thing is what they did was year one they brought out 2 expansions. In Destiny 1 brought out 2 expansions which came under the season, and then the new expansion, which was the Taken King, was year 2, and then year 3. They've done the same again this year with Destiny 2. And in fact, apparently the expansion that's coming out in September also has a season pass, so that means there's going to be 2 more expansions inside that expansion. So
Also, it should be pointed out with Destiny 2, one of the things they were pushing for you to buy was pay for shaders. And then shaders are one-time use and only affect one piece of armor. Meaning they took something that was infinite use in the first game and affected all of your armor. And then they're like, you know what? We can monetize this by
Okay.
fucking with this.
Okay.
And now you're taking content away from the player that they already
only
have.
a minority of the game, the part of the game. It's such a minority. There are people in Destiny that have not even paid a penny into the microtransaction.
I know people aren't paying in. I'm saying they've taken content away to attempt to monetize. That is wrong to take shit away that people had it for free.
No, because you can get them without.
No, Sonic, that is very wrong. You can't just
Okay,
take
yes, you can
content-
still get the shaders without paying, but now the shaders are something you're supposed to grind raids for, which is stupid.
and they
It
drop
used to be every raid has one shader. You get it your first time.
Yeah,
Congrats.
and every time you do you realize how many shaders you get per raid?
But they're
Uh,
consumable one-time use.
Yeah. But that gives the people a reason to grind. That's the whole point of what they were trying to do, is they're trying to make people grind, because people were complaining in the first one. It's like, in year one, it's like, oh, I got Glowhoo again for the 15,000th time. Get rid of it.
But at that point, it's just trying to make a fake grind to create grind.
Yeah, because
Also, a fix for that would have been to make it so it didn't drop
No.
the same drop again.
no, what the grind should have been is random rolls. They should
That's
have
what it already is.
No.
It
Mm.
kind of is.
No, because in Destiny 1, you had two guns, excluding exotics and raid and some Pacific legendaries. Exclude them, can't remember the names. Each legendary weapon had random rolls perks. So if one had Scout Fire, gave it explosive rounds, or another one had Firefly. When you get an impact, precision drop kill, they explode, or Outlaw. In Destiny 2, they got rid of all that. So your gun that you get, like a Skeet Lock, which was one of the very first legendaries you get almost, you get one, you get two, you get 400, they're all the same. So what-
Okay, but
you-
we were talking about the shaders, not the guns.
But
So if you
that's
want to,
what
so I could
what-
also say
what they're
why.
removed from.
Okay, I admit that's something that does like aggravate me between the Destiny games, but Destiny 1 started to move that way because they found certain roles on shit were way OP. It's a game balancing thing.
Yeah, like
And
hang on.
Destiny has never, ever been able to work out their balancing issue. One gun's broken Crucible, one gun's broken in a PvE. Let's just balance them out to fuck them over in both.
okay, I always hated that
Yeah.
because all they had to do was balance PvP and PvE separately, like many
Like-
other games.
Like,
Well, they
Right.
started to at first and then they stopped.
That's
And
the
it wouldn't be that hard. Just put one stat on one side of the gun for PvE and one
They
stat.
did that originally. What they would do is they would add modifiers, i.e.,
What?
shotguns did 300% more damage in PvE. Dumb.
No, what they
Hidden
did,
modifier
Right.
for the win.
what they did, yeah, and I'll quote this for them, is when they realized that nobody was using shotguns in PvE, it was all PvP shotguns, all that it was. What they did in one update, and I'll quote them on this, I can't remember the percentage, but it was damage to minions of the dark.
Yeah.
And then on another
Mhm.
gun, they had damage to the guardians. And I'm like, well, you have these stats. You have them. Why aren't you balancing it? But we're getting way off topic a little bit.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. The thing we were talking about before we got onto the guns was the fact that it is kind of shitty that Destiny has, or Destiny 2 essentially has, charged you for something that was once free and then made it
Or at
one-time
least
use and for
They're
only one part of your armor.
encouraging you to pay. They're not forcing you, but they're taking something that was free, common, and readily available players like playing with, and they've strongly encouraged you to pay them money to get.
Right, and when you go to grind for it, it's a random roulette of which one you're going to get.
To be honest, it's the same whether you grind or you pay for it. The only difference is when you pay for it, you get 20 of them instead. Well, you can buy multiple of the engrams instead of just having one every day.
He actually has a point on that. It's still a random number, but I don't like this setup.
No, but I'm not gonna lie, it could be better, but I'm hoping September, whatever they're doing in September, has got to be good because, and this will be the end of this Destiny, is September is either going to make or destroy their game. Plain and simple.
And I love Destiny. I'm watching it. I want to play Destiny 2.
Don't get me wrong. I will put my hand up and say I'm a dedicated fan to Destiny. I loved the first game. But what they did in the second one, but that is for another subject in September.
Yeah, we are going to be discussing that after after it drops, because Sonic has been wanting to talk specifically about it and how it's going to work. So,
well, I can jump in on that because I plan on playing it when it drops.
Well,
right.
that one will actually be in maybe more closer to October than September because of one reason. And Destiny, as we all know, Destiny loves to stagger everything with the game.
Okay, so you want to wait for October for that. Okay.
Because not everything's going to be out on.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm going to be watching that like a hawk. Because if they actually will fucking fix Destiny, I will pick that up.
Well, like I said, I plan on playing it when it drops.
Yep, same.
I'm probably not gonna touch the game.
I'm not putting money in until I know they fix shit.
Be honest, the only reason why you don't want to play Destiny is because you don't like Activision.
No, that has nothing to do
I didn't
with
like
that.
Activision in the first place. I still played the fuck out of the first.
And I enjoyed my time on Destiny 1, so no, it's not because of Activision. I
To
hate
mention, it's
Activision.
come out repeatedly. A lot of these decisions were Bungie, not Activision.
Right, that's the reason why I hate Destiny 2, is because Bungie is fucking it up, not Activision. And I'm actually surprised it's not Activision.
As I said, though, I'm betting a lot of the original Bungie staff that were opposed to this shit aren't around.
Right.
Oh, I totally agree.
But back to the topic of should games be $60 higher or lower.
It really depends on the game.
Yeah. And I think that's pretty much the same... Hold on, I gotta close my window.
Honestly, I would say for like AAA titles, like what gets released by big name companies, it's actually pretty fair. There's some wiggle room to debate updates and DLC, but honestly, I think it's pretty fair at this point. Because even if a game doesn't do well, they still tend to make a decent profit off of it.
Right.
And if it comes out the game's really good and people come back to it, they can still make a lot of money off DLC and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the pricing on DLC is also a whole other topic, because some games drop like a $20 DLC and there's virtually nothing in it, whereas others will drop a $5 DLC worth more than that 20.
Yeah, like
That
I
depends
said,
on the
there's some
company.
there's some room to debate DLCs.
About DLCs, yeah. As part of notice one, and it is a subject we may be talking about later on, but I think it's relevant to this one, is why are DLCs not dropping in price as the games do over years? Do you think? Why?
That's actually a fair fucking point.
It really
Yeah,
is.
like,
think about it, Modern Warfare 4 on the PS3 or Xbox 360 or the PC is still the same price as what it is on the PS4.
Okay, let's not touch Call of Duty because I work in
Yeah.
Walmart, and I will tell you now, we still have $60 copies of MW2 for 360.
I would like to point out, I was
Seriously?
I was
Yes.
looking at it.
What the fuck?
We actually assembled a fucking end cap for free without them paying us for the end cap, just in a desperate attempt to get rid of them.
Oh my god.
And they're not locked up either. Please steal them. Get rid of them. We don't want them.
Oh my god, really?
Yes, but the price of those is still $60, and that game is more than 10 years old.
Oh
I
my
just want to point out, I was using Call of Duty as an example.
Alright.
I know, but I just had to point that out. It's ridiculous.
Oh yeah,
How Activision won't let them
I mean
raise
Grand Theft Auto 5 on the PS4 is still worth roughly 30 quid.
Oh,
And mind you,
it. GTA 5 still being updated.
yeah.
but the thing is, compared to all the new games, it's still quite expensive compared to some of the older games. In
I will
comparison.
give it to games that are still receiving maintenance to this day. But like in the case of like that game has a fucking remaster out. By the way, for those who don't know, the remaster makes you pay for the DLCs again. And the DLC costs more in the remaster than
Oh.
it did with the original.
We
game.
just lost foil.
God damn it.
There he
There he
is. Though it's still listing him as offline for some reason.
I'm back. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's fine. Shit happens. But for some reason, it's still listing you as offline in the channels group.
I don't see how that's a pressing issue, however.
Yeah.
It's just bugging me. It's not pressing an issue. Alright. So, anything else we want to bring up about this? Like, anything else at all?
Not I can think of off the top of my head. Like I said, a lot of it's I just wanted to bring up a lot of the points why games cost what they were.
Right.
Or what they do, I should say.
Well, you missed. Did you hear about what I said at the end? What you cut out?
Maybe, maybe not. I was on my way to work as I was listening to this, so I may have missed it.
About DLCs costing the same price as when they get released.
Oh,
He
yeah,
means
I
before
heard
you
about
lag
that.
out of the party.
Yeah, I said that was actually a fair fucking point. Like, that's...
It's just because I didn't know if you had heard it or not. But
Yeah. Like,
No,
that
I'm
in
with
and
you.
of itself could be a discussion, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
A lot of that goes to business practices, though.
But still, we can bring it up briefly here. So, I mean, why do they do that? It makes no sense.
Why
I
change it if
actually
you
could
pay for it.
Yeah, I could actually say the reason they probably do it is when you look at a game to buy, you look at the price of the game. You don't stop and look at the prices of it.
Yeah, I mean, if the game
Particularly
price
if it's on the
drops, they'll buy it for cheaper, and then they'll want the DLC, which is kind of a way they recoup the loss in the first place. I'm not saying I agree with it, but it's an understandable thing, and like I said, it comes down to business practices.
the thing is, though, is there's some people that will just buy the game and not even bother with the DLCs. I've done it. I've bought up cheap games and I've not even paid for the DLC.
Yeah, I get that, and there are some people that like that. That said, there are some other people that will get the game on the cheap and be like, I want everything. I mean...
I refuse to pay for, and I know that some people may not like the idea, but I refuse to pay for DLCs that only bring a maps. No content, no nothing, just maps.
I would argue it depends on the game type. Like Battlefield or Call of Duty, I can see that.
here's the thing: I will if I can, I will normally pay for the season pass. But 9 times out of 10, I will not bother with a season pass because of I just don't see the point in buying the latest Call of Duty map and then literally only getting a new map, 2 new maps, 3, 4 new maps. And they've recently started doing it where they add new guns, but it's only 2 new guns, not 1 in every class of the guns. See, that's what I feel. That's what I feel DLC should be: is new content. That's one of the reasons why.
You gotta be careful in games and like shooters about giving DLC weapons out because almost always the DLC weapon isn't better, and now it's pay to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing: is you don't make them always better.
It technically doesn't matter if it is better or not. Because here's what's going to happen. If the gun isn't innately better, then people are going to bitch about how they paid money for that gun and it wasn't better. But if it is better, then people will be mad that you've added pay to win. So there is no winning when you're going to make guns DLC.
Battlefield does it, and they've done it right.
Yeah, Battlefield brick walls them along all those challenges.
No, what they do is they leave it for about a month and then they nerf it.
So you paid to win temporarily.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
Look at what happens when Battlefield
That's
first
still pay to win.
Well,
Only
you've
for
been playing. You've played Battlefield a bit more, so do they do that? Because I've never really heard of that.
I don't know. I've not actually seen that, but I would have to go into like patch notes and see the adjustments they've made to things before I can say.
Basically, what they did was they had brought out the game, and then once everybody got to the max level with the soldiers, everyone was using these rifle called the Hellriegel, and then they found out it was stupidly broken. So what they did is they nerfed it after about 2 months, I think it was roughly.
All they've done is nerf the range on it. It's still stupidly strong in mid to close.
The thing is they've nerfed the range, which is the thing, because people were getting almost cross-mapped with those things if you're not careful.
Yeah, and then they gave them an SMG with a bipod that you can literally cross-map with.
Yeah. But the fun one is the snipers.
That seems really fucking broken.
It is, but not as bad as what it sounds like.
Just me.
It still takes 3 to 4 hits to kill somebody with it.
Ah,
The thing is, Sparta, is Battlefield balanced their guns pretty well in comparison to a lot of other games. I'm gonna say it and don't bitch. Okay, I'm not gonna start this whole war of first-person shooter bullshit. Okay.
all right.
The problem I have with games, and we're getting off topic, but we'll go back to it anyway. But the problem I have is I find that some first-person shooter games don't have good maps to show off range of snipers. That's why I love
Call of
Battlefield
Duty.
because of it. It's not just Call of Duty.
But
It's
you
a
can't
lot.
deny most of their maps nowadays are just tiny
Oh,
little
yeah.
things.
Yeah, medium to close. There are a few large maps, but most of them are tiny, small to mediums.
Yeah. To be
Yeah, back
fair,
in the day,
though,
COD had long
much as
ranges.
as much as I also agree with you, that's kind of a niche thing because not everybody wants to, sniper simulator.
Right.
It's more about the fact that there being maps that are close and maps that are forced you to change up your strategy. Like I had to have different kits for different maps. Oh, we're going to this map? Well, there's a lot of room for air support, so I got to run around with a fucking anti-air gun on my back.
Well, what I'm more referring to is the fact that people being able to quick scope with a 50 caliber sniper rifle, which is, last time I checked, physically impossible if you go by reality.
It's
Okay,
a bug that became... That's a bug that became popular enough that they were afraid to get rid of it.
It's
sometimes-
not even really a bug. It's a game mechanic using the auto aim on consoles.
It's like when Minecraft removed the infinite water source. It wasn't something that was put in the game intentionally, but now people want it in there. Now there's a fucking hell to pay when they get rid of it.
Which I don't think they're ever going to get rid of it, but they have actually tweaked water physics. They can actually go through shit now.
Okay, no, I'm just saying, like, there was a point
I know.
when Minecraft entered, or during Minecraft's beta, where they fixed infinite water sources and people got mad.
Yep, I did as well.
Yeah, then they had to put them back in. I think they're worried a lot of their people, a lot of their community, and they know their community, will throw a shit fit if they get rid of Quickscope. The most they do when they make a new game is they move the auto aim point. But then all that happens is people find the new point and continue Quickscope.
Right.
You just get a day or so, well, they'll figure it out.
Get rid of it. See what happens.
You say that, but in order to get rid of it, they would have to get rid of the auto aim on consoles. And as much as I detest this fact, a lot of players on consoles use that as a fucking crutch because controllers are nowhere near as accurate as mouse and keyboard.
Oh god, yeah. In fact, I'll be honest. Destiny 2's auto aims fucks me. Every time.
It does me.
Why does Destiny have an innate auto aim? I don't mind games having auto aim. I even would keep it on in certain Call of Duty modes, like one in the chamber, because it would give someone away if they're behind a wall. But the fact they force it on you.
It's not even so much they force it on you that it's so fucking apparent. Like, the fact it'll pull you off of an enemy if another enemy's close by. Like, that's how it's fucked me so
That's how we failed Skolas the first time. Because I went to shoot Skolas with the last shot in my mag, and a captain walked by, and it literally pulled the gun off of Skolas to aim at a captain.
Okay, this is the best example. If you ever do it, try it out, record it, and show Sparta this on the console. Is in Crucible, have you locked onto somebody's head and have somebody else walk through that shot, and the other player walks away, yeah? Your auto aim will either lock onto the person that's just walked in front of him, and the other guy can just walk away like nothing's happened. That's happened to me too many fucking times. And
Yeah.
I think Shadow's
Yeah.
talked about it every now and then when
Yeah.
playing it. But then again, we hardly ever went into Crucible because that's
I
kind
played
of-
Crucible quite a bit.
I played
just
the
don't think it's
ever living
seriously enough
fuck
to
out of
come back.
Crucible, dude.
Yeah, I just don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like if I lose a Crucible match, I person on my team playing me.
Yeah, keep in mind, Sparta, me and Clutch have a lot more time on Destiny than you do.
Fair
And
point.
me and him have done a fuck ton of Crucible. I've even spent days solo queuing alone in Crucible. I
As have
actually
I.
fucking loved Destiny's PvP. And in year one, I hated it, but then they fixed it. Would be the best way to put it.
And they kind of fucked with it again, but that's
Yes,
beside
they
the
did.
point.
In year one, the entirety of Destiny PvP was turn and last word and shotgun. It was frustrating. It was bullshit. I hated it. Then year two came, and I come in expecting to hate it, and I go to get a quest done, and I'm like, huh, this doesn't suck.
You say
My-
that, but I remember in year one bringing Vision of Confluence and out sniping snipers.
Wait. Confluence?
Yes, Vision of Confluence, the Vault of Glass raid scout rifle.
You mean Vision of Conflux?
Or no, it's Confluence. There's
It is Confluence.
It's no Conflux. It's Vision of Confluence.
It's always been called Conflux.
Maybe it's different in the British version. I don't see why it would be.
You know, you
Or
say
maybe-
that, but I have seen weird name changes and localizations, so if
Yeah.
maybe.
That could be an option.
Or
It-
different for PlayStation.
Yeah, because Sonic does not play on the Xbone because he does not want to buy one. So,
I'm gonna say this: Sony's got better games, but I feel like Microsoft's got better games.
Yeah, I'll say the same thing.
And anyway, Sparta, there is one reason why I'll never go over to an Xbox. Because
alright.
I like Microsoft. Past that. By the
You
way,
say that, but Sony's been as shady as Microsoft at times.
Sony's gotten worse. In my
hey, I would like
They
to point
actually
out.
kind of screwed Kit out of, like they
Let me
kind of screwed
point out,
Kit
dude,
over when
I can't
that whole
say that
situation
Microsoft
involving
is
the hacking
Sony.
happened.
They screwed a lot of people with the hacking.
Yeah.
Sony and Microsoft are worse than each other, yes, but it's a personal choice. I just don't like Microsoft.
Alright.
Like, you're talking to someone who literally owns both consoles, so, I mean...
Because there's another reason why I wouldn't have been able to play Horizon Zero Dawn either. I would have had to buy a brand new PS4 to play the damn thing.
Again, the opening statement was Sony has better games. I just like Microsoft's everything else better.
Yeah. Like I said, you're talking to someone that owns both.
I grew up on PlayStation, so
Anyway, we're getting off subject.
Yeah.
that's how these go.
Yeah, but I mean, it's pretty much about time. We only got 11 minutes left. We could just end it here.
Fair
Well,
enough.
I have a question,
Yeah.
and this is kind of relevant. Why the hell has Microsoft not done a VR for his Xbox yet?
That's a very good question, and I think they're waiting to see how VR goes before they invest in it.
Yeah.
I would like to point out they're trying to make a VR freaking house. They've done it in their freaking test rooms and shit. There's videos of them on YouTube.
Test rooms and rolling out on an international scale, vastly different costs.
Yeah,
Well,
I think that's
I
more
will
than just
say-
to test the mechanics and how.
Hold up. Hold
Go
up,
ahead.
hold up. I will say they're doing a lot of research on the PC side, Microsoft is, but I think they're holding off to see where it goes to try it on Xbox.
Right.
Because
That,
keep in mind, they have a big hand in like VR chat and everything else on PC right now.
right, and that makes sense for them to actually keep trying to test it, make sure it's working just right, so they got how they want it before they even make the damn thing. And what's the point in shipping out something that's not going to work for the consumer?
I don't know.
I don't know. Let's ask Connect.
Oh,
Yeah, good point.
good.
But I
Yeah.
will say, we may see something about that in the near future, especially after the way Resident Evil 7 got pretty good reviews in VR.
Oh yeah.
I didn't really hear about anything involving
Yeah.
that.
Honestly, I heard a lot more good things about Resident Evil 7 in VR than I did the base game, and the base game's actually been pretty highly praised.
Well, you gotta remember the VR brings in a huge new mode to the game,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not like you're sat down at a distance. You are literally looking at the screen. You're looking at everything, and when you turn, it literally puts you in that room. So when what's the dad's name?
Ah, fuck if I can remember, man.
Jack, that was it. So Jack, when he bursts through the wall right in front of you, those moments are like, whoa. That's why I would love it if they made one game. And I know it would be good if they made it. And I think they may, I don't know. But an Alien game, like, come on. Alien, this would be perfect on the VR sort of thing.
I will also say they may be waiting until they can figure out a way to produce the hardware cheaper.
Yeah, probably. But, yeah, I could see that actually working for Alien Isolation.
Or any Alien game.
I could see that legitimately killing some.
Why?
Heart attack.
Oh.
Heart attack.
Heart attacks.
I could also, I mean, if they could figure out a better control scheme, that would be amazing for first-person shooters in general.
Yeah, kind of would. I
Or a lot of people liked the Skyrim VR too.
I hadn't really heard that much about the Skyrim VR either.
I think it's because Skyrim's finally bleeding out of people's consciousness.
Might be.
Not gonna lie, that game needs to die.
It
I know.
kind of
You know
is,
what?
for the most part,
Todd
considering-
Howard actually said when someone was asking him about it, he's like, well, what, are you going to stop re-releasing Skyrim and make a new one? He's like, you want us to stop re-releasing it? Stop buying it.
Sparta, this is what it is. This is basically what it is. Skyrim on the PC, Skyrim on the PS3, and Xbox 360.
I know, Sonic. It's on pretty much everything except for the fucking sync.
It's like,
Shh. You're not supposed to know about the kitchen sink version yet.
Wait, what? They're actually doing that? No! Why? I don't want to be distracted by Skyrim while I'm trying to do dishes.
Why not?
It's the Switch version, and I'm just like, really? Do you not just let the game die?
Honestly, I think it's actually kind of cool they added it for the Switch because they never added it to the Wii or the Wii U. So hey, Nintendo's finally got Skyrim.
You have to kill Asmodan. How many more fucking times do you have to kill him?
Until people stop putting money out.
Yeah,
Like, I had
pretty
a friend
much.
that was an idiot, completed it on the PS3,
No,
PS4, and then rebought Skyrim because he thought it was a new release. And then he was like, well, fuck.
well, I will ask y'all all this to end out the video. Did you hear about the new release that's going to be coming out? Or not really coming out, but they announced it at E3?
What would that be?
Right.
Elder Scrolls 6.
Oh.
You mean, no, they didn't announce it. They said, hey, it's going to happen. Stop asking us.
They actually announced it like last year. They just gave
Was
a
it
teaser.
announced last year?
Yeah.
Yes, they were just like, reminder, it will happen.
All right.
Honestly,
I
I'm
don't remember
kinda
ever hearing
surprised.
anything about, aside from people guessing out what the name would be, but
Supposedly, after what's going on is after about 20 false starts, they've apparently come to the conclusion we don't want to make it till there's a new console.
Yeah.
right.
Without you, there's only
They want
one
to
game-
skip an entire generation.
There's only one game that I'm interested in from E3. And if you give A, and if you don't know it, then you're an asshole. Anyway, I think that would be about time.
What is it? We don't know you that well, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually don't really know what it would be.
All I played with you was Borderlands. Series still available to watch.
I'm not going to say. Here, I have to look it up. But it begins with A.
And no one will. Okay, good talk.
I'm psyched about the remake of Resident Evil 2.
Oh my god, I checked. It's on the store now. I looked at the release date. It comes out for my birthday.
So
my birthday
That is
present
awesome.
to myself is shit pants.
So as soon as we're done here, I'm turning on the Xbox and I'm going to look at how much it is to pre-order.
60
Alright.
bucks and 70 bucks if you want to pre-order it with a bunch of outlets.
There you go. Should games be cheaper?
I'm okay with this, considering it's taken them 10 years to actually decide they're going to do this. Yeah.
And by the way, it's Anthem.
Oh.
Oh,
I'm kind of
I'm
leery
afraid.
about Anthem.
I'm scared.
Yeah, I'm really leery about Anthem.
yeah.
I
they-
want it to be good.
So do
Didn't
I.
you mention that the original writer they had for it jumped off board because of?
Yes, we
Some
are.
reason.
The writer jumped ship.
And you know, the thing with that is Bungie had this same problem with Destiny, and Destiny's storyline disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
True. That. Boy.
And I mean,
And
Sonic,
it's
please
not
tell me you
like
didn't pre-order
BioWare
it.
is famous for stories or anything, right? right.
Right.
You mean the 80 quid one? The 80 quid one? Yeah, I pre-ordered that. Why?
Sonic.
Okay,
No.
if this-
Hey, let him take it. Let him take it. I want to find out what, like, I want a reliable source and know what it's like.
I want it to be
All right.
good solely for the reason that if it fails, the writing's already on the wall that BioWare is getting closed down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just.
It's one of the reasons why I actually hope it does really well, regardless of how good the game is or not, because BioWare.
The annoying thing is,
BioWare
I'm
must
just
live.
now getting into Mass Effect and might try going back into Dragon Age.
See, there
And
is a,
this
Dragon
could
Age
possibly-
Inquisition is a fucking amazing.
Yeah,
there
you
is a
mentioned
game
that.
I'm gonna say I want a release for. I do release for it, and that's Horizon. I want more for that game. If you haven't played it, then get a PS4 because it's a good game.
Yeah, it is an actual good game. That said, the story work is good, but I don't think there's anything really new or innovative about it.
I'm gonna be honest. It looked like something that would be cool for a while.
Better
And
than
go.
that be.
Alright, well, we got about a minute left, so let's just end now. And.
By the way, on the subject of exclusive games,
thank you everyone for watching. This has been Spartalicus, your friendly blue wolf, the orange wolf Sonic, the
Whatever.
and-
Why do we need these? Just
Yeah.
why?
Right? Peace, man. Have a good day.
Adios.
Come on, it's good, bro. You've done this outro 100 times. Come on, what was it?
I was going to say Green Argonian and the Marine Bull, but fuck it. Doesn't matter.
Fuck it. Goodbye, good night, and see you all later. God bless.
A
y'all.
Marine Bull sounds like something someone would make up to fuck Shaman.
Oh my god, no! Son of a bitch!
Oh god.
I'm glad Kit wasn't here because he'd probably turn that into a fucking meme.
Ooh, let's use Discord. Discord works so much better. We definitely have to use Discord.
Well, there's a problem with that. I don't have an Xbox 360, so
We were gonna use Skype.
I have Skype. So
Well, I suggested Discord because it does work better than Skype.
I blame
I
Spoiler.
don't know what exactly happened to Foil there, but
I'm gonna stand by blaming Sparta.
why?
If you have to ask, you wouldn't understand it.
Anyway, let's see if we can get him back in.
And the answer would probably be a no.